Hey loving listeners, welcome back to Mind-Blowing Motive. Today we're going to talk about 3 powerful rules that can completely change the way you live your life. Life is full of challenges, distractions, and people who don't always have your best interests at heart. But if you understand and apply these 3 simple truths, you can protect your peace, grow stronger, and live a life full of confidence and happiness. We often waste time seeking approval, begging for attention, or depending too much on others. These habits might feel normal, but they slowly take away your power and freedom. The truth is your life, your success, and your happiness should never depend on someone else. By learning to value yourself, make smart choices, and trust your own strength, you can rise above any challenge life throws at you. In this video, I'll share 3 important things you must know in life. Never beg anyone, never trust anyone blindly, and never depend on anyone. Stick with me till the end, because applying these lessons will make you stronger, more confident, and unstoppable in your journey. 1. Never beg anyone. Have you ever found yourself begging for someone's attention, love, or approval? Maybe you kept calling someone who didn't call back, or you kept trying to please someone who never appreciated your effort. If that sounds familiar, you're not alone. Most of us have been there at some point. But here's the truth. Begging makes you small, powerless, and unhappy. Let me tell you a story. There was a young man named Alex. Alex had a friend, Mark, who he really admired. He wanted Mark to notice him, to invite him to hang out, to value him as a friend. So Alex started constantly texting Mark, always saying yes to every invitation, even when he didn't want to go. He tried so hard to fit in that he forgot who he really was. But the more Alex tried, the less Mark seemed to care. Alex felt exhausted, frustrated, and even sad. Then one day, Alex's grandmother noticed how upset he was. She said something simple but powerful. "Alex, never beg anyone to see your worth. The right people will come to you naturally. The rest, let them go." That hit him hard. Alex realized he had been giving away his power, trying to force people to value him instead of valuing himself first. So he made a choice. He stopped chasing Mark's attention. He focused on his hobbies, his health, and his own growth. Slowly, he met new people who appreciated him for who he was. He felt lighter, happier, and more confident than ever. You see, begging never works in the long run. When you beg for attention, respect, or love, you send a message that you don't value yourself. And if you don't value yourself, why would anyone else? Think about it for a second. Have you ever noticed that people respect someone who stands tall and confident more than someone who constantly seeks approval? Confidence isn't about being loud or showing off. It's about knowing your worth and not compromising your dignity. When you beg, you give your power away. When you respect yourself, you gain respect from others naturally. Here's a small example from everyday life. Imagine a coworker who never thanks you for your efforts. You keep helping them, going out of your way, and hoping they'll notice. Eventually, you start feeling frustrated. Why? Because you're begging for appreciation that should never have been begged for. Instead, if you focused on doing your best for yourself and your own growth, the right people would recognize your effort and the wrong people would fade away. Let's try a question. Have you ever begged for someone's love or attention only to feel worse afterward? Most of us have. And here's the reality. Life is too short to waste energy on people who don't value you. Begging doesn't just affect your emotions. It affects your mindset. When you're always trying to get someone else to care, you live in fear, anxiety, and self-doubt. You start questioning your worth and constantly looking for validation from outside. But true power comes from within. True happiness comes from knowing you are enough just as you are. Think of it this way. A magnet attracts metal naturally. You don't have to chase it, push it, or force it. People who are meant to be in your life will be drawn to you naturally. The more you chase, the more you push them away. It's a strange law of life, but it's true. Let me give another real-life example. Sarah was in a relationship where she constantly texted her boyfriend asking if he missed her, hoping he'd invite her out or pleading for attention. She felt anxious every day, waiting for his response. One day, she decided she had enough. She stopped over-texting, stopped begging for love, and focused on her passions: painting, exercising, and hanging out with friends who truly cared. Within months, her boyfriend either adjusted and appreciated her newfound confidence or faded away, leaving space for someone who genuinely valued her. Sarah realized that by stopping the begging, she gained her dignity, self-respect, and true happiness. Now, I want you to ask yourself, who in your life are you begging for attention or approval from? Is it worth giving them the power to control your emotions? Life is too short to live on someone else's terms. Begging is also a test of your patience, self-control, and mindset. When you feel the urge to chase someone or something, pause and ask yourself, why am I doing this? Am I chasing validation or happiness? The moment you realize you don't need anyone else to make you happy, you free yourself from stress, disappointment, and unnecessary pain. Here's a small exercise for you. The next time you feel like chasing someone's attention, stop. Take a deep breath. Focus on one thing that makes you happy or improves your life, your skills, your health, your dreams. The more you invest in yourself, the more naturally people will be attracted to your energy, respect, and confidence. And remember, it's not about being selfish. It's about valuing yourself. When you respect your own time, emotions, and efforts, you teach others how to treat you. People may still leave, but that's okay. The right ones will stay. The wrong ones, they were never meant to be part of your journey. Think about a tree in the forest. It doesn't beg the sun to shine or the rain to fall. It grows naturally strong and tall. Those who admire its beauty come naturally, and those who don't, they move on. Be like the tree. Stand tall, grow strong, and never beg for anyone's attention or approval. So today, make a promise to yourself. Never beg anyone. Not for love, not for friendship, not for respect. Focus on becoming the best version of yourself. Surround yourself with people who appreciate you naturally and let go of those who don't. Ask yourself this question every day. Am I giving my power away by chasing someone else's approval? Or am I standing strong and valuing myself first? The answer will guide your choices and free you from unnecessary pain. Life will feel lighter when you stop begging. You'll feel more confident, more peaceful, and more in control. People will notice your strength and opportunities will come naturally. Begging may seem like a shortcut to attention or love, but it's actually the longest path to disappointment. Remember Alex, Sarah, and think of yourself as the hero of your story. You don't need to beg. You don't need to chase. The right people, the right opportunities, and the right life will come to you naturally when you respect yourself first. So take a deep breath, stand tall, and repeat after me. I am enough. I don't need anyone to validate my worth. I respect myself, and that respect attracts the right people and opportunities into my life. Never beg anyone. Value yourself. Protect your peace. Live freely and watch your life transform in ways you never imagined. 2. Never trust anyone. Have you ever trusted someone completely only to be let down? Maybe it was a friend who betrayed your secret, a colleague who took credit for your hard work, or even someone you loved deeply who broke your heart. If you have, you know the pain it brings. Life teaches us sometimes the hard way that trust is precious and not everyone deserves it. Let me share a story. There was a young woman named Lisa. Lisa was kind, generous, and always willing to help. She trusted people easily, believing that everyone was as honest and caring as she was. She had a co-worker, Jake, who seemed friendly and trustworthy. Lisa shared her ideas, helped him with projects, and even told him personal things about her life. She thought he was her friend. But one day she found out that Jake had used her ideas as his own and shared her personal secrets with others. Lisa felt shocked, betrayed, and deeply hurt. At first, she blamed herself. Maybe I trusted too easily, she thought. But over time, she realized something important. Trust must be earned, not freely given. Just because someone smiles at you or acts friendly doesn't mean they have your best interests at heart. Trusting blindly can open the door to disappointment, heartbreak, and even failure. Think about it for a second. How many times in your life have you trusted someone only to regret it later? Friends, family, colleagues, even romantic partners. Sometimes the people closest to us can let us down the most. It's not about being cynical or cold. It's about being smart and protecting your peace. Here's a small example from daily life. Imagine lending money to a friend who promises to pay you back. You trust them completely and you give them money. Weeks pass, months pass, and they never return it. You feel angry, frustrated, and maybe even foolish. That's the reality of blind trust. Instead of giving away your trust freely, it's wiser to observe actions, not just hear words. Trust comes from consistency, honesty, and respect over time. Let me ask you a question. Do you rely on people too quickly? Do you share your dreams, secrets, or plans before seeing if they truly care? It's human to want to connect, but wisdom comes from knowing who deserves your trust and who doesn't. Here's another story. Michael was an ambitious young man with big dreams. He wanted to start his own business, but he needed support. He trusted a partner, Sam, who promised to invest and work together. At first, everything seemed perfect. Sam smiled, shook hands, and spoke about success. But soon, Michael realized Sam was more interested in taking credit than helping. Michael's ideas were stolen, and he was left with stress, loss, and disappointment. After this experience, Michael learned a valuable lesson. Never trust anyone blindly. Evaluate, observe, and wait before giving someone access to your dreams, emotions, or personal life. Life will show you who is worthy of trust, but you must also be cautious. Blind trust can be dangerous, but wise trust can open doors to meaningful connections. Now, think about it this way. Trust is like planting a tree. You can't just throw a seed in the ground and expect a strong tree overnight. You water it, care for it, and wait. Over time, if the tree grows strong, it can give you shade, fruit, and beauty. If it doesn't, you pull it out. Trust works the same way. You must observe someone's actions over time before giving them full access to your life. Here's a small, relatable example. You meet someone new on social media. They seem friendly. They compliment you, and they say all the right things. But do you immediately share personal information or your deepest secrets? Of course not. You wait, observe, and gradually decide if they are trustworthy. That's the difference between smart trust and blind trust. Think about a question. How often do we ignore red flags just because we want to believe the best in someone? It's natural to want to see the good, but ignoring warning signs can cost you peace, money, and even relationships. Life isn't about being suspicious of everyone. It's about being aware, patient, and discerning. Let me give another story. There was a man named Raj. Raj was generous and always helped people around him. One day he met someone who pretended to be his friend. Raj trusted him immediately, shared personal struggles, and even lent money. But soon he discovered that this person was using him for personal gain. Raj felt devastated. But instead of letting this experience break him, he learned a lesson. Never trust anyone blindly. Now Raj observes, listens, and evaluates people before letting them into his inner circle. His peace and happiness grew because he learned to protect himself. Ask yourself this question: who in your life has proven themselves trustworthy over time? Are you giving people access to your emotions, your plans, or your resources too quickly? If yes, it's time to pause and reconsider. Trust is not the same as love, friendship, or kindness. You can be kind to people, help them, and show love without giving them full trust. Trust is earned through consistent actions, honesty, and respect. When someone proves themselves over time, you can allow them to be part of your journey. Until then, protect your peace. Here's a practical tip. Observe actions, not words. People may promise a lot, but actions never lie. Someone who consistently shows care, respect, and honesty is worthy of trust. Someone who lies, betrays, or manipulates is not. By being aware, you prevent disappointment, heartbreak, and unnecessary stress. Think about your personal or professional life. How many opportunities have you missed because you trusted the wrong person? How many emotions have been wasted on someone who didn't deserve them? Life is teaching you a lesson. Never trust anyone blindly. Protect your heart, your mind, and your energy. Let me give one more example. Imagine a student, Emily, who shared her homework answers with a classmate. She trusted this friend to use them responsibly. But the classmate copied Emily's work, submitted it as their own, and even told the teacher that Emily gave it willingly to cheat. Emily felt shocked and betrayed. She learned that trust must be earned, and sometimes even friends may not have the integrity you expect. Now consider this question. Would you rather be disappointed by someone else's betrayal, or Would you rather protect your trust and invest it wisely? It's hard to say no, but protecting your trust is protecting your life, your peace, and your happiness. Another way to think about trust is like a bank account. You deposit your trust slowly, carefully, and wisely. Every action someone takes is like a deposit or a withdrawal. When someone proves their honesty, respect, and reliability, you deposit more trust. When someone lies, cheats, or betrays, you stop depositing and protect your balance. Never give unlimited trust to someone until they've earned it. Life is full of people who appear kind, loving, or supportive, but may not have your best interests at heart. That doesn't mean you become cold or suspicious. It means you become smart. You learn to protect your heart and emotions while still being kind and generous. This balance is what makes you strong, wise, and resilient. Think about it. Have you been betrayed by someone you trusted? How did it feel? Painful, right? But here's the silver lining. Those experiences teach you to be wiser, stronger, and more aware. They prepare you to trust the right people and protect yourself from the wrong ones. Trust is also about timing. Sometimes someone isn't ready for your full trust, and that's okay. Sometimes you're not ready to trust fully either. Life is a process. Be patient, observe, learn, and remember the right people will earn your trust naturally without you having to beg, force, or rush it. So today, make a decision. Never trust anyone blindly. Protect your heart, your mind, and your energy. Observe actions, not words. Take your time to decide who deserves your trust. By doing this, you prevent unnecessary pain, disappointment, and loss. Ask yourself every day, am I giving my trust too easily? Am I letting someone control my peace by trusting them too quickly? The answer will guide you toward a stronger, wiser, and happier life. Let's remember Lisa, Michael, and Raj. Their experiences weren't just painful, they were lessons. Life uses betrayal, dishonesty, and disappointment to teach you the value of cautious trust. Learn from them. Don't repeat the same mistakes. Be wise, patient, and protective of your heart. Trust is precious. Treat it like gold. Give it carefully. Observe wisely. And never allow anyone to take advantage of your kindness or generosity. The moment you understand this, you gain freedom, peace, and strength. You stop living in fear of betrayal, and you start living in confidence, knowing that your heart is safe and your energy is protected. So today, repeat this mantra: I will never trust anyone blindly. I will protect my heart, observe actions, and allow trust to grow naturally over time. Your peace, happiness, and success depend on this choice. Life will reward you for your wisdom. People who are honest, kind, and trustworthy will naturally come into your life. The rest, let them go. Protect yourself. Protect your trust. Protect your life. 3. Never depend on anyone. Have you ever felt frustrated because you were relying on someone else and they didn't come through? Maybe it was a friend who promised help and never showed up, a partner who let you down, or even a family member who couldn't support you the way you expected. Relying too much on anyone emotionally, financially, or mentally can lead to disappointment, frustration, and even a sense of helplessness. Let me share a story. There was a young man named Ethan. Ethan always depended on his older brother for everything: guidance, money, advice, even small decisions. He thought his brother would always be there for him, and he never learned to make choices on his own. One day, Ethan's brother moved to another city for work and couldn't help him anymore. Ethan suddenly felt lost. He didn't know how to handle small problems, make decisions, or take responsibility for himself. That moment changed his life. He realized that relying too much on someone else made him weak and unprepared for real life. Ethan decided to change. He started small, making his own decisions, handling daily problems alone, and learning new skills to manage his life. Over time, he became more confident, independent, and capable. He realized that depending on others was a habit that took away his power and self-respect. Ask yourself this question: how often do you rely on someone else to make your life easier or happier? The answer can be eye-opening. Dependency can feel safe, but it's also limiting. True freedom comes when you take responsibility for your own life, your own choices, and your own happiness. Here's a small example from daily life. Imagine needing money for an emergency and asking a friend or family member to lend you some. If they can't help, you feel stressed, anxious, and maybe even angry. But if you had your own savings or resources, you could handle the situation calmly and confidently. That's the power of independence. Let me tell you another story. Sophia was always emotionally dependent on her partner. She expected him to make her happy, solve her problems, and be her source of security. Whenever he was busy or didn't respond the way she hoped, she felt anxious and upset. Sophia realized that depending on someone else for her happiness was unfair to both herself and her partner. She started focusing on her own growth, hobbies, and self-love. Over time, she became more confident and her relationship improved. Not because her partner changed, but because she no longer relied on him for her happiness. Think about it. How many times have you felt unhappy or stressed because you were depending too much on someone else? Friends, family, co-workers, partners, they all have their own lives. When you make them responsible for your well-being, you give them power over your emotions. And when they fail, you suffer. Here's a practical tip. Start small. Identify one area in your life where you are overly dependent on someone. Maybe it's money, advice, or emotional support. Take one small step to handle it yourself. It could be making a decision without asking for permission, solving a small problem alone, or managing your own finances. Every small step builds confidence and independence. Let me give another example. Imagine a young man named Liam. He always relied on his parents to guide his career decisions. When they disagreed with his dreams, he felt lost and discouraged. One day, Liam decided to trust himself. He researched, planned, and pursued his own path. Even when it wasn't easy, he felt proud of taking control of his life. Today, he's successful and independent, and he knows he can handle challenges on his own. Ask yourself a question. Are you living your life on your own terms, or are you letting others decide for you? Dependency can make you feel safe temporarily, but it steals your confidence and freedom. Independence, on the other hand, gives you control, peace, and pride in yourself. Here's another story. Noah was always financially dependent on his friends and family. Whenever he wanted something, he asked someone else to help. One day, he realized that he was tired of feeling powerless. He started learning skills to earn money, budget wisely, and manage his own needs. Over time, Noah became financially independent. He felt empowered, confident, and free. He no longer needed to rely on anyone else for his basic needs. Dependency doesn't just affect practical matters. It affects your mindset too. When you rely on someone else for approval, decisions, or happiness, you lose confidence. You feel anxious about what they think, how they will react, and whether they will support you. Independence removes this constant worry. You learn to trust yourself, solve problems, and handle life's challenges without needing anyone's permission. Here's a small exercise for you. Pick one thing you currently depend on someone else for. It could be emotional support, financial help, or advice. Take one action today to handle it yourself. It could be solving a problem alone, making a decision without asking for approval, or learning a skill to become self-sufficient. Small actions build big confidence over time. Think about this question. If that person wasn't there tomorrow, would you be able to manage your life? If the answer is no, it's time to start building independence. Life is unpredictable. People leave, circumstances change, and relying too much on someone else can leave you feeling helpless. Let me give another story. Olivia was always dependent on her partner for emotional support. Whenever she felt sad or anxious, she called him immediately, expecting him to solve her problems or make her feel better. One day, her partner went on a business trip and couldn't be there for her. Olivia panicked at first, but then she realized she needed to handle her emotions herself. She started journaling, meditating, and talking to herself kindly. Over time, she became emotionally independent. She realized that relying on others for happiness made her weak, but trusting herself made her strong. Here's a practical tip. Independence doesn't mean rejecting help. It means not relying on anyone for your peace, happiness, or success. You can accept help, but you don't make it a requirement for your life. By doing this, you protect your energy, confidence, and freedom. Ask yourself, are you giving away your power by depending too much on someone else? Independence isn't selfish, it's essential. When you depend on yourself first, you become stronger, wiser, and more respected by others. Think about a tree in a forest. It grows on its own, relying on the soil, water, and sunlight. It doesn't ask other trees for permission or help to grow taller. It stands tall, strong, and independent. People admire the tree because it thrives on its own strength. You should be like the tree. Stand tall, grow strong, and rely on your own power first. Let me give one more example. Mason always relied on his friends to make plans for him. He never decided anything on his own. One day, he realized he was missing opportunities because he waited for others to act. Mason started taking control. He planned his days, made decisions, and started living on his terms. His life became more organized, productive, and fulfilling. He realized that independence gives freedom, control, and confidence. Ask yourself this. How many opportunities are slipping away because you wait for someone else to act? How many times have you felt powerless because you depended on someone else? Life will always have uncertainties, but if you rely on yourself, you can handle anything that comes your way. Dependency also affects relationships. When you rely too much on someone else, you create pressure and expectation. People feel burdened and you feel frustrated. True relationships thrive when both people are independent yet supportive. You respect yourself and others respect your independence. Here's a small exercise for self-reflection. Make a list of 3 areas in your life where you are too dependent on others. Next to each, write 1 action you can take this week to handle it yourself. By taking small steps every day, you build confidence, strength, and freedom. Let's remember Ethan, Sophia, Liam, Noah, Olivia, and Mason. They all learned the same lesson. Relying too much on others makes you weak, frustrated, and unhappy. But when they started depending on themselves, their lives transformed. They became stronger, more confident, and truly free. So today, make a promise to yourself. Never depend on anyone for your happiness, peace, or success. Learn to trust yourself. Handle your own problems and take control of your life. By doing this, you protect your energy, gain respect, and create a life full of confidence and freedom. Repeat after me. I am capable. I am strong. I trust myself to handle my life. I am independent. And I will never depend on anyone to control my peace, happiness, or success. Life will reward you for this wisdom. People will admire your strength. Opportunities will come naturally, and you'll feel empowered every single day. Independence isn't just a habit. It's a mindset, a lifestyle, and the key to living freely and confidently. So, loving listeners, remember these 3 powerful truths. Never beg anyone. Never trust anyone blindly, and never depend on anyone. Life will test you. People will disappoint you, and situations may not go your way. But your strength, peace, and happiness should never depend on someone else. Stand tall, value yourself, and protect your energy. When you apply these lessons, you become unstoppable, confident, and free to create the life you truly deserve. If you found today's video helpful, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to Mind-Blowing Motive for more motivational content that helps you grow stronger every day. Share this video with your friends and family so they too can learn these life-changing truths. Stay motivated, stay confident, and always remember you are enough. You are powerful and your life is in your hands.